The morning had barely begun when Jordan stepped into the diner, tying his apron with one hand and rubbing the sleep from his eyes with the other. His sneakers, a size too small and full of holes, squeaked across the linoleum floor. Rent was overdue, his phone bill was unpaid, and his fridge at home contained little more than half a jar of peanut butter and a single egg. He sighed and forced a smile. "Morning, Ruth," he greeted the cook. "Morning, sunshine. Coffee's fresh," Ruth replied, her voice raspy but warm. Jordan poured himself a cup, sipped it quickly, and glanced around the empty diner. It was still early. Just a few truckers nursing coffees and one elderly man thumbing through a crossword puzzle. Then, the bell above the door jingled. A little boy, no older than 8, walked in. Alone. His coat was 2 sizes too big, his shoes untied, and his eyes, tired but curious, scanned the diner nervously. Jordan approached, kneeling slightly to meet him at eye level. "Hey there, champ. You lost?" The boy shook his head. "No, sir. Just hungry." Jordan glanced around. No adult followed. "Where's your mom or dad?" "She's working. She said wait in the car, but I couldn't wait." There was something about the kid's voice, quiet, honest, a little broken, that hit Jordan square in the chest. "All right," Jordan said, standing up. "You like pancakes?" The kid's eyes lit up like headlights. "Love them. Then you're in luck." Jordan didn't think twice. He paid for the meal out of his own pocket, money he had saved for lunch and maybe a bus fare home. He even added a side of bacon and hot chocolate, with extra marshmallows. He didn't expect thanks. He didn't need it. He just sat with the boy for a few minutes, chatting about video games and cartoons while the kid devoured his breakfast like it was the first real meal he'd had in days. When a black SUV pulled up outside the diner, the boy jumped up. "That's Mom," he said, running out with a grateful wave. "Thanks, mister." Jordan chuckled to himself. "Be good, kid." And just like that, the moment passed. Hours later, the diner picked up. The breakfast rush came and went. Jordan wiped tables, refilled coffees, and ignored the growl in his stomach. Around noon, the bell rang again, and in walked a sharply dressed woman with a presence that made the room go silent. A tailored coat, sleek heels, and the kind of confidence that said she'd been making major decisions all morning. Her eyes scanned the room and landed on Jordan. "Are you Jordan?" she asked. He blinked. Yeah. Can I help you?" "I think you already did," she said, stepping forward and extending a hand. "I'm Vanessa Hart, CEO of Hart Technologies." Jordan's eyebrows shot up. Hart Technologies. The name was everywhere. Phones, laptops, billboards. This woman was worth billions. "My son," she said. "He told me what you did this morning. I was on a conference call, and he slipped out to find food. I didn't realize." Her voice broke, just slightly. "You didn't know who he was. You didn't ask for anything. You just helped." Jordan felt awkward. "I mean, he was hungry. That's all I needed to know." Vanessa smiled, but her eyes were glassy. "This world needs more people like you." She reached into her bag and handed him a crisp envelope. "It's not charity. Think of it as an investment in someone who still sees people." Jordan opened it after she left. Inside was a personal check, $10,000. Enough to pay off his debt, buy new shoes, and maybe even take a real shot at his dream of becoming a teacher. Weeks later, Jordan was back at the diner, but this time, he was giving his 2 weeks' notice. He had enrolled in night classes and started volunteering at a local youth center. One day, as he handed out sandwiches at the center, the same little boy from the diner walked in, holding his mother's hand. Jordan grinned. "Hey, pancake champ." The boy beamed. "You remember." "Course I do." Vanessa knelt beside her son. "He talks about you all the time," she said, then turned to Jordan. "And I'm glad he got to meet someone who reminded us both that kindness doesn't need an audience."